Hey Spencer, what's up?
Hey, Addy.
I was just wondering, you said you were gonna reach out with stuff about the humanoid, because there's a lot of catting going on, and I never got anything, and I forgot to kind of like check up with you. Is there still a need, or like,
Right now we have an AI assistant that we're actually looking at to do text to CAD. I could
uh-huh,
send you a link to it.
yeah,
It is
I'd love to take a look at it, yeah.
it is it is kind of crazy, but if you're wondering what we're doing right now on the sides of CADing, um one big thing we're doing, I'll probably talk about it during the
Mm,
meeting. So
that's fine, yeah, I'll just take a look at it during the meeting then. But if you want to send me the link, I'll take a look at that.
yeah, I'm making the agenda right now.
Okay, okay.
Hey Spencer. Hey everyone.
Hey, John.
Hey
Hey, John.
Addie, what are you growing there?
That's a good question. I don't know, I'm trying to know
Yes,
what.
my friend, what are you growing? What are you
Oh,
growing?
is he influencing you?
Mighty.
You know what? Yeah, Spencer, it works on Spencer, so I tried.
Rubbing off?
Yeah.
Nah, I can't grow a full beard, so it's
Yeah,
just like,
I'm even working on, I got hair going down here. I'm working on a full goatee beard. I'm working on it right now.
see, Dio had the same thing. Like me and him are matching, you know?
I was gonna say something about peach fuzz, but I guess you're gonna be a man now.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's just one way to put it.
Sorry. Uh, Addie, attaboy, attaboy.
Attaboy. I'm trying something today. I've kind of reduced my tabs on my computer to see if, because John kind of told me about my mic cutting in and out, so I'm trying to kind of reduce my tabs to see if I was overworking my computer a couple days ago. So if I kind of cut my video in and out, it's because I'm trying to make sure I don't put too much stress on my computer.
Yeah, you sound good right now.
Very good.
Oh, let's see the usual suspects. Okay. Hey guys, if you want, can you maybe ping some Indra and
Yeah.
Oliver? Uh,
Yeah.
we had AI. We need to have Flowbrain. So, okay, boom. X people are here. Boom. Send a
Ping
reminder.
everybody.
Yeah. I see. Um, oh, yeah, okay. A is not going to be here. Eddie's not going to be here. Um, we do need the team leads. Haroon's not going to be here.
Yeah. Oh,
There's Mohammed. Okay. Did you message Indra?
Indra's here.
Okay, great.
Here.
Hi, Indra, how you doing? Uh, okay. I'll uh, give it another minute. Mohammed will join. Do we have an agenda? There's Mohammed. Okay, Mohammed.
No problem.
Um, do we have an agenda for this meeting?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Mohammed, can you message uh, Sandeep? Sandeep was supposed to be here. And I want to make sure we have a demo. If not, if he can send you the info so we can do a demo.
Okay, Mr. John.
Nations.
Do you have something on the screen?
Hmm?
Someone trying to share something? Okay. I thought it was, do you have the agenda or the recap that you can share?
Yeah, I could do that. I was just waiting a couple more minutes to see if anybody else joined. Thank God I did, because Solly joined here, so wanna just read it. But yeah, I can share my screen for the agenda. Here we go. Okay. So recap from last meeting. It's right here. Humanoid, we did some newer open source hands. We looked at simulation from Indra. Chassis idea task has been created. It has yet to be assigned. Um, Talked a little bit about artificial muscles, an AI design assistant that John has brought up, and some kind of early stage internet research as we get into actual building. Um, for front end, you guys were almost done with responsiveness on the mobile side. You guys were working on some new features. You didn't really have any blockers, and everyone was working. Back end, you guys are doing your AWS deployment course. You guys are relearning AWS. Doing the memory masterclass, which was completed. Ruslin's proposal was accepted, more specifically having to do with transforming for better data, better storage optimization, so then we didn't take up too much space. And you were tasked to kind of do review how other companies are doing it, how their data optimization, memory optimization, and data optimization. And then for multimodal, your GPU research is done or almost done. We're looking between HyperStack and something else. I didn't catch it during the meeting. You guys were deploying your VLM and speech to text, and you guys were still looking at your GPU provider choices. For FlowMath Travel, you guys were still working on AWS memory course, still working and still learning how to use it. For data, you migrated your CRM, and you guys are clearly the fastest moving group here. You guys are really pushing yourselves and getting up and running. And then finally, for design, you guys working on multiple websites. Boot camp is almost done. Changer AI is waiting for final review of from Kim and her team. You guys are doing some good progress on Flowbrain, and you guys are looking at Venture Institute updates as well. Do we? We don't have any new team members today. Good. So so we can go right into Humanoid. For the Humanoid project, we for Humanoid project, we come off of the Humanoid meeting. We wanted to look at artificial muscle as part of Tarl, if you could kind of include that into Tarl's like base of research and kind of include that into what should be included at Tarl. We also talked about the chassis ideas task, um, more along the lines of, if you see something on the internet, just put it down in like your page so then it can get off your mind and you go back to focusing on your tasks. Robotic hands, we are working on kind of just open source robotic hands as of right now. Ruka, Orca, PIB, and uh, the one provided by Robot IS. The run by Robot IS is the one I'm currently working with right now. Hilariously enough, their entire model is broken. I've had to completely reformat it and completely reassemble it from scratch. So I'm having to completely reverse engineer some parts. So that's been fun. Um, but yeah, it's I'm working on it, trying to get at least something I can show here. And then also a big thing that's going on right now and something that's really, really interesting is an AI text-to-CAD software that John discovered, and I have handed off to Oliver and Sally to kind of take a look at and try to get it to work on their laptops and their systems, so then they can come to me and tell me how to do it as well. So they're going to be educating me to get it to work on my computer so then I can play around with it and get it to work. Specifically, what we're going to be working at with that system is a modular gripper design. So a modular, so essentially you have like claws, like small little units, and then you can 3D print spacers, so you can do like two claws, three claws, four claws, five claws, six claws, and kind of build your own little gripper out of those units. Other things are a four-finger robotic hand and a five-finger robotic hand. We basically want to see what this AI comes up with for basically the entire humanoid, and then we can take it and learn from it and adjust its design throughout the process. So we want to see what it comes with. So I'm really interested in this thing because for me I can voice my ideas a lot easier than having to create them. So for me this is really interesting. So this would be able to help us with our desktop robot, be able to help us with our humanoid. This will be able to help us with our chassis robot. So this tool, if we can get it to work and get it to function the way I hope it does, it'd be a very, very powerful tool for a humanoid. Uh, Next we have CAIPO IoT Addy, if you want to give us kind of what's going on in IoT.
Yeah, I mean, Haroon really hasn't been that active. I think he's honestly don't even know what's going on. I think there's some issues he's having on his end, but from my side, I think the CAD is basically done. The CAD is I'm handing it out to people to review and give me some uh, feedback so we can. I think that part of it is done. There were I think Haroon had got all the pieces to work together. So I will, as soon as the CAD is, everyone says 100% on the CAD, everyone says yes on the CAD, I'll send the files over to him. He can 3D print it and put it together. So we're basically on our very last stages of assembling CAIPO. And I mean, I haven't really gotten a response from Haroon. I don't know if he's just busy or what it is, but as soon as he does respond, uh, we can put together CAIPO and hopefully have it done by next week.
Hey, Addie, didn't you have a buddy that you were working on that task with?
Um, I I think it was Rebecca. Pretty sure.
I think Rebecca and Jaren.
Yeah, I don't.
Jaren, were you working on that?
I don't think. I think I just sent him the files and
I didn't. I was going to look at the file, then yeah, didn't happen.
Okay. Okay. Uh,
I can make sure to set up a meeting time and then have us look at it
Yeah.
together.
yeah, if I don't know, um, yeah, see, there was Charles. What's your background with working on something like this?
Uh, Not much, honestly. I mean, I I did it a little bit in the few years back to high school for like 2 years, fast, but I'm not the best. I can learn and go back to my old class book and read it to get better at it, I guess. But
What?
it's a little bit old to me. I will be rusty.
Yeah, okay, okay. No, I was just it's probably then best I'm just Jaren and Addie and Rebecca if she's going to yeah engage in it. I'm not sure what's happened with Rebecca. this last week, but she had some experience with that. So, okay, well, yeah, Addie, if you and Jaren could set up a time for a meeting tomorrow, and we want to kind of bring this to the next stage. We want to complete it, at least complete this initial one, so then we can kind of move forward. Charles is now within the IoT team, and also Antoine, who just arrived in Limnos this weekend, and he's starting tomorrow full time, and Charles is full time. They're both like 6 months or so here. So we want to complete CAIPO. And Charles and Antoine are going to be focused on knocking out CAIPO, what we need to do to finish it. And they're not going to work on anything else but that. So I think Charles, I'm going to probably have you and probably do a threesome buddy. Maybe you and Antoine and
Yeah, sweet.
maybe Addie or one of the other team members on the other stuff that we need to kind of work on the tasks. Haroon's supposed to be back this next week, so I asked him to kind of provide the list of things from his perspective, what need to be done in order for us to launch the dev kit. He hasn't provided that list yet. And, the casing, what you're working on is one of those things.
Right.
So, we're now over 2 years that we've kind of started on this. So we need to push it over the line here. And, we have the resources now, the expertise, or the team members that have enough experience with AI and the research that we can do to kill it, put it over the line and have something amazing. And that's what we want to do. So yeah, okay. Well, Addie, if you and Jaren can meet tomorrow as buddies, if invite Rebecca, and then before our next meeting, once you get it to as buddies, you have a meeting at the beginning and at the meeting at the end before you present it to the team. So the two of you, if you can work on that, and let's finish it.
Sure.
So, okay, sounds great. So excited to finally get this out the door here. Of course, we need to get Flowbrain working, so that's another aspect. So okay, and yeah, since we're talking about IoT and Charles, I discussed with Antoine. I don't know if the documentation for CAIPO was there in the competitive analysis that we did. Have you looked at that?
When you say the documentation, what do you?
On Notion, we have documentation of CAIPO, and we also have a task to research the competition.
Yes. Yes.
You saw those. Okay. Did you go through in detail the difference? I think there's about 13 different competitors there that are building something similar.
Yeah, I did read them when I started. I don't remember honestly the details of everything. But because I was focused on finishing the masterclass and the thing with the marketing team and stuff. But I can look it up again with Antoine and link up with him to talk about it. As I know too, Antoine also is French, so it will be easier for both of us, I think, to explain also in our mother tongue about everything. So that could be nice too.
Yeah, well, okay, that sounds good. I tasked him to go through that and do a deep dive and do a competitive analysis. Take what is there, mm, do not update it. What I'd like to, I don't know when we did that competitive analysis. Oliver, do you recall when that was done? Was that October, September, October,
September.
September? So what I'd like to find out, that's 8 months. I'd like to find out, I'd like to compare what they had 8 months ago and what they have now. So I'd like to have a column created to see what development was done, what additional features and functionality was done in these products, what changes were made from a, if any changes were made from a component standpoint. And yeah, so basically any changes, so we can compare what progress did they make in 8 months, and then identify what features and functionality and changes that they made to see, if what insights that might provide us in our um, product development roadmap. And how we want to move forward, or maybe if there's some things we want to modify because something new came out there. But so, and probably add another column if there's, I don't think there's one now from my recollection, but do they have any other devices that they're selling within their, let's say, bundle? Claude, for example, has their wearable, and they also have something that you attach to your phone, to the back of your phone, and then you can just in a meeting, you can have your phone set it down, and it records your meetings and records stuff. So it's uh, you'll see on their website, but Jason Calcanis, who has a podcast, he's an investor, and he's an investor in them, in Plod, and he's kind of promoting them. I think we shared one of his clips a few weeks ago. But anyway, we may, as we move forward, we may, if that's something like, okay, well, that makes sense to add, because instead of a wearing, maybe you have something that you clip on the back, or maybe you can take CAIPO and maybe you can clip it on the back of your phone, and it's just recording voice and not recording sound, for example. But yeah, we want to see how the other companies have evolved and kind of create, if any of them are creating an ecosystem like Plot is. And then also we want to look at the wearables and the apps, and what do their apps do? Do their apps do something different than, say, the wearable? Or is it an app just to transcribe? Or can you use the app instead of using the wearable to record? So I know like Reed had an app, and one of their competitors, they had these apps. What was the name of that one? Anyway, but apps were the predecessors to kind of these wearables, because you could just take your phone out and record your conversations, and it would transcribe them, and you could, so those have been out there for a while, and but yeah, so we need to have And I think even Limitless was acquired by Facebook. Um, I heard that Limitless, they shut it down. So I don't know, it was probably like an acqui-hire. They probably bought it for the talent and, and they're, I guess they're gonna come out with their own Limitless type of a pin. And, so I thought that they would just, market it and rebrand it or something, but of course, Facebook is creating an ecosystem of wearables along with their glasses and everything else. So the word on the street is that they're coming out with a wearable like ours, and so is OpenAI uh, by the end of this year. So we need to get out there and before there's too many players out there. But and then there was one on the list that you'll see that had a camera. It was the only one at the time called Looky, I believe, something like that. And
Lucky N1. I got the documentation right here.
you did okay. Yeah, so the all the other ones didn't have cameras. I don't know, maybe some of them, maybe there's some other competitors out there now. But probably want to see if there's any other ones that have launched and then add them to the list if you find any. But yeah, I think that's where we want to understand, what do they have, and then look at the architecture, the design, the components of what we have, and see, and kind of compare to see if yeah, there's any insights. The conversation that I had with Haroon a couple days ago was, he was of the thinking to pull out the Raspberry Pi, which he keeps bringing up. And Oliver, I brought up to him that the reason why we decided to have that Raspberry Pi included is so we could have an AI on CAIPO. So in order to be able to combine having an AI on-prem, on the device and the cloud. So we may want to go have CAIPO talking to you for, the first minute or something, saying something while it's going to the cloud and reasoning and figuring things out, and then it starts talking or however. But I think that's the decision that we made, was to have that Raspberry Pi integrated into it because we wanted to have that functionality, although it increased the size of CAIPO a little bit, and it consumed a lot more battery usage. But I would imagine that if you're not using the Raspberry Pi, then it's not going to be consuming battery usage. But I don't know how the architecture is designed, and I guess it would be good to confirm, because Arun said that I think with the Raspberry Pi, it only works for 5 hours, or like a 20th of the amount of time. So are you familiar with that, Oliver?
Yeah, I mean, there are two things here that I would like to clarify regarding that. The goal of the Raspberry Pi was to really reduce the response time. That's the ultimate goal, because the biggest challenge right now is not so much the battery or the AI itself. The time between, I mean, the delay between the moment the user asks for something and the moment they get their response. So the idea or the thinking behind it was to reduce the response time by having an AI transcribe on the device. That was the base idea. If you guys find a better way to get a faster response, that can be a new way to go. I think, I mean, maybe the world of hardware changed and it's not the right way to go, but you have to keep in mind that was really the main goal behind it. So anything that can improve the response time is a good solution. Now you of course have to keep in mind the cost, but that was the thinking behind the Raspberry Pi Zero 2 was to have something like what Whisper did, which is train a small model or have a small model that transcribes and is used to the most common words in the AI world to be efficient and lightweight. Transcribe on device to make it fast. Send it to the cloud in form of text. So when the user is having a conversation with CAIPO, the responses are more like what ChatGPT 4.0, I mean 4.0 was at the time with the chats, a really quick response under 500 milliseconds. That's the threshold because above that, it doesn't feel like a real-time human conversation anymore. So that's the goal behind it. And what the competitors are doing is interesting to know for our decision making regarding the hardware to know if we are still leading the world of these AI agents. However, keep in mind we're still gonna have hardware that we won't have access to because they have access to chips that are usually kept secret by factories. So what we really have to focus on is on the capabilities of the device and how we can get something better. Until now, since for example, probably what Claude are doing is doing everything on the cloud. They have a seemingly very lightweight device. Maybe they have an ERM processor on the device that allows them to be quick. The battery, I think, will speak by itself. But it seems like a really simple processor that only sends things to the cloud. The Loki L1 is the one that's really interesting because it's really close to what we're building. They seem to have a stronger processor because they have to compute the images coming from the 12 megapixel camera they have. I think I'm not sure, I think it was a 4K camera, I'm not sure. But they have a pretty high quality and they have continuous recordings. What we read at the time was that they record every like minute or so and they record like 30 seconds. We have to see if we can get something better than that. The other reason why we had the Raspberry Pi Zero 2 was for the camera, because it allows us to have the standard camera that you find on most mobile phones of the low range. This 12 megapixel camera that can be plugged into a Raspberry Pi Zero 2 and any ARM processor kit that you can find online. So those were the two main reasons why we had those. If you find a better solution with the ESP32, then it'll be better because it'll use less battery and it will cost less. Our main concern was the processing speed because again, the goal is to have the best user experience. You get the best user experience by having low delays between responses. And to have low delays, you either have to depend on the user having a really fast connection, which is a real ideal case that happens 1% of the time, or having some processing on device to send really light requests to our cloud. And that was my what I remember from that discussion.
Mhm. Okay, well, I mean, that makes sense. Um, I guess looking at using cloud and on device AI was maybe in addition to, but maybe not the primary thing. Um, so yeah, and I want to see which one is like the best one on the market right now because I want to order order one and test it out and be able to have something that I can compare to what ours is. From what I remember, I mean, they were only like $100 or something for the device and whatever the monthly fee was, but I think it's definitely something that I want to, you know, have so I could see, so I could, see how far behind we are. Um, but yeah, and remember, I shared with you, Oliver, that um, what what was the company that came out with that AI that chip that it was an on-device, basically a wearable that was an AI. It was a video. They had a video and they had announced the chip, and that was like 3 months ago, I think. Anyway, we'll find that. That might be something else. I think that was kind of going to be expensive, but um, yeah. The other thing that we were talking about recently with Oliver, and it's something that we want to explore, is Starlink. Um, um, And Juan ordered Starlink Mini, and it's actually 10 euros a month for the first 3 months, and then it jumps up to 30 euros. But basically, you can take that with you anywhere you go. And the other one that we're looking at for the lab is 40 euros a month. They don't have a special for the first 3 months. But you don't have to purchase the equipment. It was like $350 of 350 euros of equipment that you don't have to purchase. But it comes with a mini and another device for its mesh, for the mesh network. So you can take what Starlink that you have, will have at the lab, and then have this other device that creates an outward, mesh, so you can access it in more places. And you can continue to you purchase these mesh devices so you can have a greater area. In fact, Mama, we were talking about it because maybe in Damascus with the internet issues, and you could theoretically share that with your neighbors, and it's pretty. But what we were talking about is I saw in the last couple months a company. It was a startup, but it was more advanced, let's say. They were a drone startup, and they were selling to defense. And they they did a deal with Starlink, and they had drones that they're flying. They were flying out in the ocean, right? And so you have internet via satellite, and you can use that in remote locations. So they have some type of partner program for companies, I assume, that want to access like this company. So I don't know if it's something. I mean, what are the use cases for taking CAIPO and integrating? I don't know the weight. That's another issue, but how you could, if you had CAIPO with Starlink, and what are the use cases for a device like that? And with Oliver had suggested using CAIPO for helmets, motorcycle helmets, kind of put it on a helmet, or pilots. Of course, a pilot would need something like that, because if they're in the air, right, you got to have internet. So that would be something that combining those would have a use case. But that would be interesting for us to look at how we can combine Starlink with CAIPO, and what are potential markets out there that might be interested in a device like that. So, Charles, maybe you want to research that also while you and Antoine, if you can see what Starlink's partner program is for companies that want to access, and you can research that drone company and what other companies are partnering with them to see, because it sounds pretty interesting. They've brought the prices of having internet for vessels way down, and with their solution, because it used to be really expensive to have like broadband internet on your ships and small sailboats, smaller vessels. So okay. Oliver, is there anything else you want to add about the about CAIPO or what's going on in the IoT team?
Not really. Maybe that if you have an ESP32 available around you, it can be beneficial to keep working on the bootloader to be able to update the device as long as it's connected to the internet, because it'll be beneficial for you and anyone on the team that would like to try sending updates in an automated way. That way we can already start to learn from it, and when we deploy some sort of dev kit, the updates will be essentially handled by us and not the users, which will essentially make their lives easier. So that'll be something interesting to put in place. Otherwise, yeah, focus on the making. Use the research mostly to see where we can improve, and yeah, really focus on getting the device made. I think that'll be probably my main
Yeah,
take.
I told Haroon to complete the bill of materials and send the list. He purchased the various components from Turkish companies, so he wouldn't have to deal with customs. So I asked him to send the list of the companies he purchased those, and then Antoine and I guess Charles, both of you can research those. Purchasing them so we can get those devices shipped to Limnos, because that's going to be, like our main thing is I want to get all the components, and I don't really think we need a 3D printer. I think there's probably a local company right now that has a 3D printer that we can print just the CAIPO, unless we start doing a lot of 3D printing, then we can consider purchasing one. But yeah, but I want to try and have, by next week, have whatever research we've done and whatever components we need to have them ordered and shipped over here, along with the soldering kit, because Antoine we don't have a soldering kit over here. So that's the other thing that we'll need. But so, okay, sounds great. Spencer, that's it for IoT.
I gotta go check on something. I heard my doorbell ring, so Indra,
Okay.
can you quickly take over?
Yes. Well, for the Flowbrain as a overall, we are working on. We will work now, I think, for the next couple of weeks in the new features that the design team designed. And let me see if I forgot something. And for now, we are finishing the last pages, responsiveness. So we are working on the brain activity, the dashboard, chat interface, and the memory visualization responsiveness. We're almost done with that. And for the backend, we are finishing the AWS course to deploy the backend, and that also means for FlowMat Travel, we need to finish the course to deploy it and understand a little bit more of what's going on with the current deployment. And back again to the backend for the Flowbrain, we are applying Rosalind's proposal for memory. We'll still have to do the research we talked about on Wednesday. And we're also working on storing the system workflow events. So for example, if there is an error when getting the system online or things like that, it will fire an event and it will be stored in the workflow database. And then for the multimodal perception team, we decided to use HyperStack for the GPU platform, and we are setting it up. And we're finishing the research on speech-to-text open source models. So when we have it done, we'll be able to deploy the model we choose for the speech-to-text in the GPU we are setting up. That's it for the Flowbrain. Now we should talk about the quality assurance. Eddie's not here, neither is Luca, so I think we won't have a update on that. For the FlowMat Travel, as I said, we are finishing the AWS course to understand a little bit more on what's going on with the backend deployment. And then we can go over on automation. How are things going in your side, Mama?
Hello, Mr. John. Hello, everyone. We've started, first of all, we've started working on a new task, which is automate event end time for Discord meetings. We also, and it's about to be done. We also have several new tasks in the pipeline, which is automating agreements for new members and automating the reposting of Indeed job postings. Yes, and also automating the introductory post for each new applicant who joins the company. Finally, I would like to mention that the automation team is open to any new ideas from anyone, especially from team leads. If anyone has repetitive processes or challenges that could be automated, please feel free to share them with us. Yes, and this is our updates for automation team.
There's
Awesome.
a lot of stuff, Oliver, that we need for using Discord that need to be automated, right?
Yes. Ideally, we want something that will be, I mean, because that's what I'm working on, personally. It's the Discord bot for Kronos, because it takes some time to set it up properly right now, with the new policies I feel from Discord. I'll say that that's something that's not on the list. Otherwise, the place to write whenever something has to be automated is in the automation team home workspace. I mean workshop in Notion. So you go there, you go to the workshop tab, and I think that's the only thing that's on the page.
Mama, did you automate the the issue that we had with the, what Oliver was gonna try and do with, what he did with, um, sorry, the, uh, the automation that the 1,500 emails of people that haven't been replied to because we all had already received a reply, or they were already in the pipeline. Um, did you figure out how to automate those and how to reply to those?
The past week when the automation was not the automation when the Gmail was not working, I respond to all the new forms that we got manually to fix this problem, and all the old emails. I'm trying to find the best way.
You still, okay, because I thought you, when we spoke the other day, you had figured out a way to solve that.
Not very much, not very close, actually.
It didn't work? Is that what you said?
No.
Mhm. Okay, Oliver, do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, it's really just a matter of looking for the right signal to detect which emails to reply. So it really depends on the platform. It's pretty easy to do on Python. And is a bit like it expects you to do it in their way. So the moment you find the right indicator, you will find a solution. But in my experience, the issue was really on not so much on detecting the emails marked as unread, because you can, I think, build a script um, using Python to get those. The issue was really on replying to the last email of the conversation, which was one of the reasons my automation was replying to old emails. But if you want to make your life easier, it will probably be easier to just retrieve all the unread emails using a Python script and then processing those using anything.
We retrieve all the old emails that we didn't reply on them. We have some emails that maybe they don't want to get any emails from us.
Yeah, but that's why you have to check the
But
whole conversation. So it's like a two-step process for each email. You have to retrieve all the emails and then check the conversation, analyze it, and from there you reply or not. And yeah.
if we did it and then let the AI decide what's the best email to reply with it, maybe we will be run out of tokens from the AI node. Yes.
I mean, if you're using the OpenAI API token, you probably won't run out of tokens. You probably would just reach the limit, which will be also problematic. But I did the detection of the new emails already on the previous automation. Maybe you can take that script that used to be a Lambda function. It's on the emails automation repository, so you should be able to find it there. But the issue is really on the second step. So you retrieve the whole conversation and you reply only to the last email. Because if you didn't reply to the previous ones, it will detect the whole conversation as unreplied emails, which usually messes up the whole list that you have.
I'll try. I will try
Yeah.
this method.
Okay, we'll see what you can do, Umama, and probably tomorrow, uh, maybe with you and Mohammed, I'd like to meet because I want to go through the emails, and I'd asked Mohammed to copy me on on HR, so I receive all the emails, and you should, and Mohammed should, and Eddie should, so we know that it's working. And every day, look, confirm what was sent, what was received, and make sure, every single day that everything is working that's supposed to be working. Um, so hopefully at least the new ones are fixed, and then we can figure out these existing ones and how we deal with those. Maybe we have to do them manually for the first one, and then once it's in the pipeline, then it will continue as a worst case scenario, but we'll have to go through those manually. And if you can look and see how many emails are there. I got different stories, different numbers from Mahesh. It varied between 1,000 and 1,300 or 400, something like that. So I don't know how many people we have not responded to, but it would be good to know that. Yeah. So, um, yeah, because that's a huge, we canceled the orientation meeting for this past Saturday. Two people showed up, and so I don't want to cancel another one. Hopefully we can, start to resurrect these and start to grow, because this for the last 4 months now. Um, this has kind of not been good. So yeah, and also some of the content of the email we'll talk about, but I think we want to change up some of the content. And on the top, it says, thank you for uh, moving forward in big text, and that's not supposed to be there. I think that was like a header that was there, that somehow you forgot to remove the headers from the emails, or something. I can't remember, but at the beginning of each email, it says something in big and bold at the top. And that wasn't there when Maria was doing those manually. Uh, and so those changed. And also the email, if you look at the emails that are being sent, they look like they're in a grid. They look like there's lines around the email and around some of the text. So that looks weird. It doesn't look genuine. So, and also on the bottom of the email, it says this email created with N8N. I just saw that today. So please look at these emails and go through them, and that's really, hopefully we can solve that. So okay, that sounds great. Glad we're finally making some progress. Mama, nice to have you back.
Thank you,
Okay,
Mr. John. And I will look for these emails and templates also, and remove the N8N message.
okay, great. We'll meet up tomorrow. Sounds good. Thank you. Okay, Indra, back to you.
Great. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, John. Now we can go to the data team. I don't think we have anyone from the data team here, do we?
Saleh is not here. Hello, everyone. Hello, Indra. If Saleh is
Mhm.
not here, I think I'm gonna put. So, guys, right now with the data team, our main concern is the new CRM. So, what we're doing right now with the data analytics team, everyone at the team started to have a Zoho account on his own and trying to figure out how to move all the information that we have within HubSpot to that one. So Zoho gonna be the new CRM that we're gonna use from now on until we develop our new CRM. So this is the idea right now for the CRM that we talking about. And I think this is the main concern that we have right now with the data team right now. And that's it.
Yeah,
Great.
the data, this Oliver had mentioned about he was developing a CRM. I think what and we spoke with Sally about using an open source CRM rather than developing our own from scratch. So I guess we'll see. We'll need to have some meetings this week as far as like where we're at. I mean, the plan was moved to Zoho as a temporary solution, so we um, reduce the expense compared to HubSpot. And and in the interim, then look and see what having our own solution that we can integrate. And of course, on the back of Flowbrain, we'll need a CRM for analytics and for our customers that are using it. So yeah, so that's kind of the plan with the CRM right now. We're haven't concluded whether we're going to develop our own from scratch or use what Oliver's creating, or we need to research and see there's a couple out there, open source ones that are pretty robust and developed. We could take those and develop features and functionality on top of those. But those are the kind of the alternatives that we're looking at right now before we come to any final conclusions.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you, John. We'll go back actually to you, Mohammed. How's it going with the design team?
We have good news. Actually, I hope indeed to come to this meeting, but he just let down from his flight. So I think he's gonna be using the mood changer team, but he shared the new design. So I'm gonna share it with you guys so you can see him, especially you, Indra. That's what we have right now. Sandeep and Diksha work on that for the Flowbrain regarding the new insights and what we need. So someone within the team gonna sign up. You type your email, you type your password, and you sign in. Then you see the magic. On the left side, you have all the links regarding most of the tools that we use, like Cloud, like Figma, like Canva, Cursor, Notion, Discord, GitHub, and we can add more depending on what we have. And as you can see at the header, you have like three options: default, focus, customs, regarding the size of what we need of the app. So I'm gonna take it with the default one. So as you can see, also on the left side, the username. If he wants to talk, like using mic, you need to have a meeting. Um, you want to have like your group, like the design room. You can enroll to the design room here, and you can start the room chat. You can have a call, a video call for all the teams. As you can see here, this is the room chat. This is the AI chat. So within your room, you can use the AI chat, you and your teams, your team members at the same place. Within the room chat, you can talk with just your the team members, like your fellows, the tasks of that team, what to do, what in progress, what is done. If we have some docs, like about what we're gonna do, how to do everything, every information that we need, like meeting notes, resources, progress, projects, what, especially it's like what we have in Notion, but here. And reports. for your time entries. Like if someone as a team lead, he can see all the information here. If someone is not a team lead, just a user, one of the team, he just can see his time entries, like what he did, the blockers, whatever information he can see here. The calendar, you can see here the calendar, like on Monday, I made that. On Tuesday, I made that. And you can see every information, like a summary of your information, what you did, your tasks, what you did here. And here is the team. Like, for example, for the design team, these are mock data. Um, Sandeep, Jareen, Diego, Diksha. This is for the design team. If you click on one of them, you can see the information on the right side, like for Sandeep. If you want to message him, if you want to assign him a task as a team lead, um, you can see all of his information here, his time entries, like the projects, like all information about what he do. Even you can see here, like his impact, his time, like the task, how much tasks he done, how much not, the time that he commit to use within the company, um, and so on. Okay, so and also you can see who's online right now within your team, working right now, who's not, who is away, who is gonna leave or just leave. And at the top, you can see here like the tracking time. So I'm gonna track my time right now, for example. I'm gonna click here. What are you working on? Your task. What are your tasks? So I'm gonna link it to a task. If one of the team leads created, for example, Space Venture Institute redesign. And here, what I'm gonna do, update the homepage, for example, and link to room, which room you should be within, like which team. You can use it like for design room and set a session. Then after you click on set a session, your time tracking work from here. So you can go for the place that you're gonna work on. For example, you work on Visual Studio Code, go for Visual Studio Code, cursor, whatever you're using. So you just click here and your time still working. And at the end, after you finish your work, you come here and you stop your time. And as you can see here, you have like a search and notifications about what you do. Depend on your rule. Like if you're a user, you're gonna see notification for you as a user. The same as we can see on Notion. But if you are a team lead, you're gonna have more access for all of your team. And here you can see like the profile if you need like to make your status. Yes, I'm working away. I don't anyone to disrupt me. I'm gonna leave on now. Like custom things as you can see here. So if you need to start a new room, click here, name the room, and you can do it. And this can be only for the team leads. If some deep here, you're gonna see more about this, but basically this is what we have right now for the new design.
Mohammed, where's the first page or the other page where you can change, or at the top of the page where you can change UIs? We have 5 UIs. We have,
Yes, I know. Well, let me. And this is the final version that we were working on. So let me see the one before that.
they're right there. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Clarity Buddy, Command, Present,
Okay.
and Custom.
So this is the last updates. Like just Sandeep shared with me the last one. But before that, we have this. So this you have like here, you have like different UI model you can choose. Like you can use this one, 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 you can use this one. It is the same as this one, but with more information, as you can see.
Yeah,
So
the custom allows you to customize your UI. So what we're going to have is the four, while you're working, you can go between UIs. When I initially talked to Sandeep, back in the day, we had an affiliate program, a white label affiliate program for our travel sites, and people could come create a site, uh, go through basically a three-step process. We had 8 different templates. They could select a template, or they could change the colors. We had color palettes for all the different colors for everything within that those templates, and then they could upload their banner or their background, and then we had like a page of quick search forms. We called them QSFs, quick search forms that someone could put on their website that had fields to, from, dates of departure, dates of return, basically what you're going to ask for when you're traveling, and they put that on their website. So when someone would search from their site, then it would come to our site, our technology, and it would have a co-branded white label travel site for that they created. And it was basically a 3-step process, very easy to use. This was back in 2000, and we had a web email campaign. We had thousands of small to mid-size travel affiliate sites. But yeah, so when we talked to Sandeep, that was actually kind of my thinking, kind of people come in and they can configure their own UI. But as he was working with the AI, and this was designed by Claude Design, which, see how amazing it is, compared to Figma Make. Claude Design was released a few weeks ago, I believe, and when they launched, Figma stock decreased by 10%. Adobe's dropped, and it's just a superior tool compared to Figma Make. And Mohammed decided to stop Figma Make, our subscription, and use those funds towards Claude, because it was really amazing, the what it did, the speed that it did it. This was prompted. This design was prompted, created through prompting Claude Design. But yeah, so actually Claude Design came up, I think, with the top bars where you could just switch between UIs, which is a much better idea. And then so I talked to Sandeep about having the fifth one, the customized one, which allow individuals to come up with whatever design that they want to come up with. How can we do that? Not just add their background and change the colors, but really customize. So that might be like a kind of a stepping stone, but over time, as soon as possible, we want to allow the users to create whatever design UI that they want. Why should we tell them what UI? Let them tell us what UI that they want, and maybe some are going to come up with something fantastic that potentially we'll have the rights to any UIs as we want to update. But yeah, so that's kind of the idea. Right now, I don't know. Like, we launch this, how quickly we can launch like chat and video. We have I think it's called Toolkit or something. It's open source. Basically, we can do the same thing that Discord is using. And Sally looked at it. I think it's not that complicated. complicated to integrate, but so yeah, and then we have kind of the list of buddies. The idea with the buddies are that we have a legal buddy, we have a data buddy, space buddy, QA buddy, design buddy, podcast buddy, whatever those buddies are that will be specialists. Let's say maybe with our legal buddy, maybe you click on it and then you see, okay, well, you've got um, potentially the other AIs, the other legal AIs that are integrated. If the customer wants to have, oh, I use these 4 legal AIs, so they can have their legal AIs there, or um, it's our own AI, um, or it's our own one that we trained ourselves. But however those work out, the idea is we'll have an AI for every vertical or a link for every vertical. Now, instead of maybe where you saw on the left side where it had design and it had Notion and links like that, maybe the buddies have those in them. So when you're, say, looking at project PM buddy, your project management buddy, well, and there's a link to Notion. There's a link to maybe different people are using different PM tools. And maybe the links are from there, or maybe they're over time, if you recall, um, what was it? The the other website that's a meta searcher is a genspark.ai. Genspark has kind of the same concept. Mohammed, do you want to share Genspark real quick?
Okay,
Genspark
Mr. Tom.
AI,
Yeah.
just to look for comparison. It's GEN, not
Mm.
GRN, GEN, yeah, genspark.ai. So I don't know, that looks kind of weird. It's not the same UI as it was before. Oh, there it is. Okay, okay.
It's still
It's
loading.
coming now. Uh-huh. So GenSpark, they were a yeah. So they're kind of the same kind of a competitor, I guess, and how they did their buddies. They did it, as you can see below, more not AI music, AI video, AI whatever. So, and then they have their GenSpark Claw on there. We're gonna have our Flow Claw. But they went from 0 to 100 million in annual recurring revenue, which means that they by month 12 they were generating around 10. I guess it's a forecast basically. They're probably generating around 8 million a month in sales, 8 or 9 million. But so yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking at as far as if anyone wants to go and look at GenSpark and see how their uh, things work. I looked up, they have a podcast one. I don't see it. I guess you click on all agents, click on that all agents at the bottom right, all the way to the right. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
My internet is not the best, I think.
Mhm. Okay, well, here they have a list of all their AIs. There they are. Okay. Uh, their AI pods is for podcasts. You can see there. So, um, yeah, so they have some interesting features. We still kind of need to go through and do a comparison. I was started to do some research on the different AIs, but and see who else was out there, like kind of like GenSpark and Perplexity, um, to try to see how are they differentiating themselves. But yeah, so anyway, it's yeah, because they have the same kind of idea, except that they're calling it AI something. They don't call theirs buddies. Um, so yeah, maybe we can go around the room and get some feedback. What y'all thought? Maybe Indra.
About the new design.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am worried actually, just because from the first specifications we had about Flowbrain was to build a basically AI virtual assistant, right? And we pivoted a lot from that. So we built the Flowbrain from the old specifications, and the new design and what we want now for Flowbrain is very different from what we had in mind back then. So we'll have to build all over again. We'll have to create a new roadmap. The backend will change a lot too, just to restore all the rooms and things like that. So I'm worried about how long we'll have, as my worries are more like team lead worries, right? Um, from the design point, I think it's beautiful and everything that we talked in the last meetings, but I'm more worried on how we'll develop it and how much time we'll have it, because it will take a while and it will have to break down into phases. Like we won't be able, of course, to do it all at the same time. Um, yeah, it's more like we pivoted so much from what we have right now. So it will take a while to get there. But other than that, I think it's looking beautiful.
Mm. And when you say we pivoted, like, what did we pivot from that is so different from what you just saw?
So the first specifications that we have, like from the end of last year, it was Flowbrain was more towards to a virtual assistant for individual use, and more like ChatGPT style, and an aggregator of models and things like that. Now we're looking to a enterprise dashboard with different um, features like the voice and chat rooms, things like that. Also with documentations, um, and well, everything that was shown today. So I think those are two completely different applications.
Well, I mean, if we were to hide the chat features and the video features and buddies, basically it's just a chat bot. At the end of the day, it just looks like a normal chat bot, like a FlowMad Travel. So that is what you're considering the initial specifications is to be more like FlowMad Travel.
A little bit, yeah. It was from the specifications they had, like from the product requirements document that was created right before I got in, actually. It was supposed to be a like a multimodal perception virtual assistant that would power a website, um, like would have the website would have a chat interface, a system dashboard that shows how the system is working. For example, if it's idle or online, if have any errors, and the context of what the AI was storing. So it's a little bit like Flowmat Travel, but it has some more features for the system in itself and for the user to understand how it's going with the system. So yeah, it was kind of like if Flowmat Travel would be a branch from the Flowbrain. That's I'm saying based on the specification we had before.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, no, we definitely, there's new things that we discussed that are in this one, so I guess we'll see now how change those specifications and what needs to be done. But all the stuff that we're working on in the back end is still required. I mean,
Yeah.
we wouldn't change any of that, right?
Yeah, everything we have right now from the back end will still have it. I think the more drastic change we will have, it will be from the front end. I don't see how we can reuse what we have built from the front end right now, because design wise, it has a very different structure. But from the back end, there are just more things we'll have to add.
Yeah, a lot more things. Uh,
Yeah.
so okay, well, no, that sounds good, and yeah, I agree. It's a completely different UI, and so I don't. But I mean, it will need to be in stages, of course, because what we talked about recently, we don't know how long it's going to take to add, let's say, chat and video, right? The Zoom feature or Rooms feature. So we could potentially have the UI there, and then someone clicks on it and it says coming soon, and then just, if we think that how realistic it is for us to, like really get that. I mean, if it's 60 days out, I mean, I think, just have it as coming soon, have the vision there, and then if just the chat works in the middle, well, just the chat works in the middle. And then maybe we don't need all, I mean, the buddies are going to be like, that's going to be like a really long, like more complicated, having mood changers working on some things, and Solly's working on some things as far as what the UI is going to look like for the wearables. And that would probably be like the mood changer buddy or whatever, or the health buddy. And they're also working kind of on the health buddy, how we want to take, like, if you want to upload all your health stuff, from your doctor's visits and stuff from the last, how wherever, like companies, humans also have their stuff scattered, their data scattered. So, where you've been going to a doctor the last few years and the years before that, maybe you've had multiple, where's all that stuff? So you ideally you want to have all your historic health data and your sensor data and what you're eating and, whatever that health thing is going to be looking like. So all of those things will need kind of work and research, and that's kind of the idea. So we have a legal team, then they're going to work on the legal buddy, and when, the data team's gonna work on the data buddy, the automation team's gonna work on an automation buddy. As we start to, grow. So, okay, well, I think about, and I guess we'll have some discussions what now with the new version of Claude, and how quickly can we get some of these things done? Um, because it's not, the AI is not going to code everything. We're like we talked about it, kind of orchestrators, agentic engineers is what everyone's becoming, will become, and not really writing code. And how do we manage these, orchestrate these AIs to take what we have in the UI and really, speed to market? How quickly can we get out with something that looks, like most of the stuff is there, say, because that will be the interesting thing. Oliver, any thoughts?
Yeah. So as Indra mentioned, that is a very futuristic version of the Flowbrain. If we want to release the Flowbrain this year, we probably want to go in phases. And when I mean phases, it means developing every service that will be part of it one by one. Actually, what I started doing with Kronos. In the future, probably no one will remember Kronos, because the idea is that the mechanisms to track the time are developed in the backend. The FloLabs accounts are also developed in the backend, and it will be easier to merge in the end. It'll probably, I mean, the design is nice. I think for the future version of the Flowbrain is probably the optimal version to have once every functionality works. But if we want to release something this year, at least, the AI can save us to release a product pretty quickly, because we have a good foundation. But if we have to start from scratch, it doesn't take away all the planning that goes with it. So, depending on what the goal is, if the goal is to release the Flowbrain on the deadlines that we set up already, then we probably should just complete what we have and see how to integrate the functionalities on the new design, and then design all the products that like are part of the, I mean, all the services that are supposed to be functionalities of the new Flowbrain one by one, uh, to limit the load of work that we are doing from week to week, and then merge everything together and have the final design. But otherwise, I mean, the design itself is pretty nice. Like as a workspace with everything inside, I'll say that it's pretty good idea.
Yeah, yeah. I certainly we want to launch something as quickly as possible, and we don't want to, flip to something completely, different, and extract, push back or launch whatever that is. Um, and that's why we kind of need to look and see, okay, well, what are the, you know, if you look at that, yeah, you kind of also there's aspects of it that are like a Notion, kind of project management. So there's some of those that
Sí,
are in there.
ok. 20 minutos.
So yeah, kind of parts of it are like Notion, where it's managing your project, and then part of it's kind of like Toggle or Chronos. I mean, I don't know, like on the back end, Chronos can be plugged in. But yeah, so I see that there's going to be different features and things that need to be integrated into it. And but yeah, definitely we need to do it in phases, and that's why we kind of need to look and see, okay, what are the things that, because at the end it's a lot, it's design, even moving between designs. That's just different designs? I mean, what are the additional features and functionality that are there? And I guess we can, once we have the list of those, that stuff, then we can kind of prioritize and see what we can launch, in what order. So, yeah, because like I said, the chats and the rooms are there. There's an open source that's companies are using that's very advanced. And so if we have the back end for that, I don't know. I mean, yeah, there's AWS and I mean, it's in theory, it's just plugging our front end UI into that back end. It wouldn't be like we're not developing it from scratch.
I mean, yes, and also no. What happens at the backend is indeed built, but it's still something we need to make work with our UI. Let's assume we have really fast coders and they can connect this open source backend to the new design. The AI, let's say, can do it in one day. Then it will have, of course, errors because it has to adapt to the whole architecture that we have on the hosting service that we will be using. Let's assume it's AWS, just because that's where the FloLabs accounts are already stored. You have to adapt your AWS for that. That probably will take at least one day. If you want to test all the endpoints and make sure that everything works, and you have to build all the testing scripts in the same week, it'll probably take at least a week. So if you go like that, you end up usually with something like 1 month per feature that you want to integrate on the Flowbrain, meaning that that's the amount of time that'll take you to release this new version. You count all the new features that you want to integrate, and that's the amount of months that you need to release it using AI right now.
Okay, well, you're the guy like OpenClaw. We can just make
I know
it create apps for us overnight. In 3 hours, it's gonna create. And now it's like, okay, by the end of the year, guys. Okay, but
no, it
you went
works.
from doing things overnight
It
to doing things over
yeah,
over
okay,
an hour.
yeah. I mean, it works that way, but taking into account that in order to make sure that these projects work the way they are intended, because I mean, because it's a pretty big one, and also they are a pretty big one because really on the back end you have like multiple services that will be basically the multiple functionalities that we'll have for the new program. AI can help you to release things fast. But if we switch the direction from what we have for the Flowbrain, it'll probably take way more than we expected, especially if there are new features. Because the issue is really the novelty in the functions that it has.
Okay, okay. Now I know it's somewhere in between. It's not, um, it's not as easy as like building apps using OpenClaw overnight. So okay, well, yeah, we'll definitely look at that. Addie, what are your thoughts?
See, I I feel like with that I wasn't really part of a lot. I wasn't like a lot about the planning on that, and like the back end and stuff. And so I don't want to like going back to like what Oliver and Indra have already said. I guess my thoughts are similar in that manner that like we don't want to overshoot things then we can't complete because we have a habit of doing that with a lot of our products, not gonna lie. Um, so keeping it something that we can actually produce and making sure that we can actually get done, that should be what our priority should be. But I don't, well, again, I haven't been really involved with anything other than CAIPO, so I don't want to put something out there being like, oh, I don't like it or I do like it. Then, you know.
Okay, okay. Well, Spencer. Sounds good, Addie. Thank you.
I real I really don't really have a input into CAIPO or Flowbrain as I'm not part of those teams, but I feel like getting a working Flowbrain out quickly would be the thing, because I know for my state, some of my progress is kind of waiting on Flowbrain to get developed and getting an application out there. So for me, I'd rather have a basic ready to run Flowbrain that I can immediately start working with and start putting into desktop robots and stuff like that, instead of having everything ready to go on a launch day. Because between now and a possible launch date, you're going to find more things that you want to add, and that's just going to progressively push it back. And I would like something that's more simple to work with for now. Something that I can put into a desktop robot, something I can push and design around for now, and then later come out and go, oh, it'd be really cool if it had this interactivity. Oh, it'd be really cool if it had this and this and this, and progressively add it so that people that do use Flowbrain and will use Kaipo realize that we are not just putting it out there and trying to make money off of it. They realize that we are supporting it as well. And that's my thing. I would like a simple version to begin my desktop robots and begin my chassis and begin my humanoid, really start developing on the actually building it side. So I would want just a simple flow brain for now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, from the robotic standpoint, I mean, you're not going to be, you don't really, the UI of FlowBrain
Yeah,
desktop isn't
yeah.
really something that you're
Yeah,
gonna,
my more concern is on the application side of it, inside your phone and for mobile.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we're trying to see. That's part of the plan. Is anybody else or Sema, uh, Mama, Ruslan?
Uh, I think I agree with the others. I mean, it's better to treat it like a version, different kind of versions. And we can release the first version right now with what we have, with the simple designs, and then progressively add the features. As like other companies do, update their products now and then. I think we can do that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's why we need to kind of go through and uh, create a list of features and functionality. And then once we have all the features and functionality that are on this UI, then we can prioritize which ones come, you know, how we release them in what order. Um, so okay, well, it sounds like everybody's on the same page. Any thoughts from anyone else? Okay, I guess not. All right, well, we can go to the next thing on the list. We still have time. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, we got
Yes,
about
Mr.
10 more
John.
minutes.
Okay, this is the first thing we talked about, the new design for the Flowbrain. We have also developed a design for the Bootcamp University, and we actually published that. So, Jireen, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you share with the team the updates for Bootcamp University that you created, you
Sure.
and Diego? Yeah.
So I actually thought we didn't have a contact page, but turns out we did. So I was just checking that. That's why uh, let me close this too. So I think I
Okay.
just I already showed this part before. This is the released version though, so this is something kind of new. Showing the projects like this, clicking on them. The internships are new testimonial. I also added captions in case the person who is going through the websites, maybe they don't have their headphones, maybe they're not, I don't know, crowded, loud room or something like that. So there's also captions clearly visible there. So we have projects here, each leading to its own website if they have one, which they do, other than this actually, but this, where is this even leading to? Okay, I will check that one because as far as I know, this doesn't really have a link. All
I
of
think
them
that,
other
that
than,
connecting the dots, I think should go to the YouTube channel.
okay. So all of the other ones are going to its own website, like, and close the CAIPO leading Flow Studios AI, all of them just going to there. So we have how it works, our tiers, the models, the internships are here, or they can be coming from there. We have community playbook, the rules, workflow, and all that. We have light mode as well. I'm going to show about in light mode. Areas of impact. Register leads back to apply. We have press, which, to be fair, I'm not sure if we have these. We have contact page, which is only on the footer and nowhere else. We have the legal pages, privacy policy and other stuff. Yeah, this is basically what our website looks like right now for Bootcamp University.
Well done, Jareen. And thank you for my picture. Like the worst one ever. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So, this is for Bootcamp University. Thanks to, yeah, this is me. Yeah. Thanks to Jareen and Diego. They did a good job and they still work on the development of that website. And we also have Athletic Performance Intelligence, which is the new website, and mainly the second website that we work on for the Mood Changer team. I'm gonna share it. So, so I think we shared that before. It's still under development also, but as you can see, it's basically a landing page for the athletics. Okay, so
Mohammed, if you reset, not always reload the website, some parts of it will change.
yes. But if I reload it, it's not gonna work because of my connection. You're gonna wait for 2 minutes.
Okay.
This is the issue.
Okay.
So try it, guys. I have sent the link on the chat for this website also. Look at it. It's still under development, but basically it's a simple landing page. We use it. And as you can see, we kind of taking this trend like having a video within the hero page as a background. And regarding the images, we're gonna change all of them. Don't worry about that. But basically, this is the other project that we work on for the mood changer team. Feel free to check what we have. I send the link. If someone have any updates, let us know. We more than happy within the design team to have your feedbacks because at the end of the day, we are one team. And I think this is the updates for this week for the mood changer team, for the design team. We have other stuff work on like mood changer, Space Venture, Google Venture Institute. All of these websites also under development. And I think the next meeting, which is Wednesday meeting, hopefully I'm gonna share the updates for these websites also. And that's it. Anyone here?
Yeah. Thanks for showing us the old site, Mohammed.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. John.
Yeah, hopefully next time to refresh it so in the mood changer meeting you show people the updated site. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. Do we have anything? Is there anything else on the list, Spencer?
No, we did have someone new join the meeting, a new person to the team, but I don't see him here right now. So I think he left the meeting,
Okay.
logged off.
And,
Sweet.
and can you remind me, what did we decide on the robot, on the stuff that we talked about last week as far as the fiber, the muscle?
Um, you wanted us to kind of look at it to see if it's something that should be included with like Tarl, to see if it's something that would interest people.
Yeah.
Um, a field of study that is kind of unique and, kind of this early advancement. Um, right now, from just, reading what I've read and seeing that 90% of the information about it is littered in a bunch of scientific papers written by Stanford, Johns Hopkins, and every other university in between from the last, I think it was 6 weeks. It's definitely a newer research field, especially with the way that MIT has done it, combining it with air actuators and stuff like that. So it's definitely a new field of study and something that I feel Tarl, if it doesn't have it, Tarl won't really be affected, but if it does, it's just another thing Tarl can explore.
Okay, well, why don't we do that? Because right now for Tarl, we have some stuff that's talking about quantum. Um, Also, we're working on the photonics, and that would be a good addition. I mean, is to have on the website. At the end, people that have some expertise and are interested in that, if they see that, they would join us because they want to work on that, and then we'd work on that. And that's the whole point. That it would attract people that, PhDs and postdocs and people that are,
Interesting.
like, so maybe if you could, Spencer, maybe with Mohammed, because Mohammed is working with Pranad for the quantum messaging and the other stuff, the photonics, and maybe if you can help, maybe work on this, and then we could, put that on the website as kind of a third project that we would work on. assuming we've got the people that are interested in it. Okay, okay, great. That's all I want to bring up. Ruslan, anything on your end? We didn't really get to you. Before we wrap things up here. Can't hear you, Ruslan. Okay, Harshit, anything from your end? How are things going?
I mean, yeah, I just worked on open source speech to text, and yeah, that's about it.
And how are I guess you're working with Indra, you're communicating with Indra because you're not able to make our weekly meetings.
Yeah, I'm communicating with her.
And what's your situation right now? Because initially when we spoke, when we met, you were going to spend like 30 hours, and then it's gotten like really hovering to I'm not sure how many, not a whole lot. Are you planning to resume full time when school is finished, or what's your situation?
Yeah, so school ends in 2 weeks for me, so I'll be able to join all the meetings and dedicate time now, so I don't have to get, you know, bothered with midterms or exams and all that. So 2 weeks from now, I'll start working full time.
Okay, okay, that sounds amazing. Great to have you on the team. So, okay, and Nago, how about you? How are things going?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can kind of hear you.
Okay, okay. Well, thank you for having me. Right now I am um done with my onboarding. I'm going through the master classes, and while I'm doing that, I'm kind of getting a hang of the job being done here during meetings. So apart from going through the master classes and trying to catch what is going on with the project here, I think there's nothing extra. I am still blending in graduate so far, yeah.
Okay,
Hello?
sounds yeah, sounds good, Nago. Sounds good. Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything they want to add before we call it a day here? Okay, all right. Well, thank you all very much. Uh, Great seeing everybody. We'll see you at the next meeting. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.